Chris.
Hey, Lee.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hot.
Yes.
You know, I told a friend the other day, I said, if I go missing, I'm just that large puddle of fat over by the recliner with the crochet hook sticking out of it. Oh my goodness gracious, it's been hot around here. So, I gotta tell you what happened when Jeremy and I went to Jeremy's my son. Jeremy and I went to West Virginia for Grammy's memorial service.
Okay.
Okay, you know my dad who passed away in 2001, I believe. His best friend was Dino Suplita.
Yes.
Okay. And I had not seen Dino since, I think it was around 2006. He came up to Mom's book signing at the library there in Fairmont. You remember him?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought I'll just go visit him. Just, you know, like a quick 15-minute visit or so, because I know he didn't have any children of his own. And I like to keep in touch, you know, how I am about those kind of things when I go back to home, to Fairmont. So I looked him up online, and he had died. Yeah, in 2013. And so that kind of made me sad. But then I was kind of upset that nobody had told me that Dino had died, being that he was Dad's best friend.
Right.
And so the night before Grammy's memorial service, the Wilson side of the family that actually lived on Dakota Hill with Dino, all of us cousins, because the only one left is my aunt now, all of us cousins in our families met for a big dinner of girls. And I was sitting next to my aunt. And I looked at her, and I think she's 80, she'll be 83 this month. I said, did you know Dino Suplita died? And she said, Dino Suplita died? I did not know Dino Suplita died. She said, the last I heard, he was in Ohio. And then she proceeded to tell me this Dino story, like a funny Dino story. And so we spent the rest of the night, the cousins and I were all just joking about, not joking, but just kind of bouncing off stories about what Dino might have done based on the story that my aunt had told me. So the next morning we get up and we go to the other side of the family that's not as jovial. And my aunt was there, and she's my mom's younger sister. And I said, Aunt Carolyn, did you know Dino Suplita died? And she said, yes, I did. And she said, she proceeded to tell us another Dino Suplita story. That was totally different than the one we heard the night before. And I was like, that's just wild, because these two people would, like, you wouldn't think they would run the same circle. You know what I'm saying? So, unreal. Well, a little bit later, Mike Rogers, you know Mike Rogers.
Yes.
He was there. He was my mom's old boyfriend, but he always comes to family functions and swears that I should be his daughter. But anyhow, that's another story. So he was there, and I looked at him and I said, Mike, did you know Dino Suplita died? And he said, no, I didn't know Dino Suplita died. He said, last I heard, he was in Jacksonville, Florida. And he proceeds to tell us this Dino Suplita story. Like, totally random, off-the-wall Dino Suplita story. And so, Eric and I were just, my brother Eric and I were just kind of just taken back that the world at this point knew Dino Suplita. But we needed to test the waters to see if people outside our little clan of family knew Dino Suplita. So we were up at the Polka Dot one. I think it's on Pennsylvania Avenue, maybe Fairmont Avenue, you know, up there by that old hotel.
Uh-huh.
And we were waiting in line to get in. It was going to be about a 45-minute wait. Well, I was, you know how I joke around sometimes, like all the time. And so I said, watch this. I said that to my brother. And there was this young couple that was also waiting to go in, and now cutest little girl. And I looked at them, I said, do you know Dino Suplita? And they were like, well, we know of Dino Suplita, but we know, and then they named another Suplita family member. And I was like, oh my word. Like, here's this random person standing at the polka dot restaurant. But we really wanted to get on the road and get back home. We were driving home that night from Fairmont, and Eric was driving back to Kentucky. So we decided to go on up to Bob Evans. And we were sitting there at the table, and Jeremy was trying to find out more about Dino Suplita, since everybody in the world kind of knew Dino Suplita. And while we're talking about Dino, this old woman with the walker gets up out of her seat and puts her hand on Eric's arm like that, and she said, I know Dino Suplita. Well, he played football for Reeseville. He had the highest step. Nobody could catch him. Good football player. Good football player. And our whole table sitting there kind of going, so we're just kind of laughing and thinking, oh, you should do this documentary where we just go around Fairmont, West Virginia, and ask if they knew Dino Suplita. Well, I was calling my aunt like the next day to let her know we had gotten home okay, and she had it on speaker so I could talk to my uncle too. And I was telling her how everybody just knew Dino Suplita. And all of a sudden, my uncle, who didn't go to Reeseville, who totally lived in town, who spent most of his high school years hitchhiking across the South or whatnot until he came back to go to college. He was in the military. He said, oh, I know Dino Suplita. We're in the same fraternity together. Now, Dino Suplita and my uncle are two of the furthest people I would think would ever be in a fraternity. And yet, here was Dino in my uncle's fraternity. Mind blown. So, anyhow, do any of you know Dino Suplita? And if you do know Dino Suplita, do you have any good stories about Dino Suplita? Because we're all about him. We're all about him. If you're not from Fairmont and you're from either Jacksonville, Florida, or we heard he was on the coast, the West Coast, bartending for a while. If you're in Ohio, Diana, I know you're in Ohio. We also heard he was in Colorado and that he passed away in Salt Lake City. So, anybody want to connect any more dots? We're here to listen. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.